Although I'll be talking about 21 different palm species or subspecies in this video, I have decided to group them by genus into a top 10 in order to avoid repeating similar characteristics. I've tried to order them from the least hardy to the most, although there can be some variation in hardiness, even amongst plants of the same species. For example, I had 3 Washintonia Robusta that had grown so close together they looked like the same plant. However, only one of them survived a brief dip to -6. Other factors can include how wet the winter is or how much sun they get in the summer, so the minimum temperature provided in this video is only a guide. At number 10 are the Washintonia Robusta and Filifera. Washintonia Robusta, or the Mexican fan palm, is recommended to be able to survive temperatures down to -5 degrees C, so you're unlikely to see mature plants anywhere but the warmest areas of the UK. Ventnor Botanical Gardens on the Isle of Wight have several mature Washintonia Robusta, but most are unlikely to survive more than a few winters in the warmer areas of the UK. Washintonia Filifera, or the California fan palm, is somewhat more cold tolerant due to its thicker trunk and is more tolerant of occasional frosts. Even if growing in warmer areas of the UK, it's still advisable to wrap with fleece, particularly to protect the crown over winter, and younger plants will be more at risk. Washintonia Filifera is also more drought tolerant than the Robusta, the latter needing consistent watering throughout the summer months. Washintonia Robusta is faster growing than Filifera, however both palms grow comparatively rapidly. They also grow very easily from seed, so if you do live in milder areas of the UK, it can be inexpensive to maintain at least a moderate-sized palm for a few years if we have a run of mild winters. Both Washintonia Robusta and Filifera can be quite happy growing indoors in pots if given large enough pots and regular feeds, which may be ideal if you're looking to bring them in for winter until they're better established. At number 9 is Phoenix Canariensis, or the Canary Island date palm. Mature specimens are quite common in warmer areas of the UK, with a recommended minimum temperature of -8 degrees C. Younger palms, however, will need a lot more protection and will frequently be killed by more severe frosts or temperatures of around -5 degrees C, so are best brought indoors for winter. You can also tie fronds up in a bundle to provide some winter protection from cold, wet and snow, adding straw into the crown and ideally then wrap with fleece. Once mature, Canary Island date palms will flourish in warmer areas of the UK and in rare cases further north. For example, there is a mature tree in Leeds, although Phoenix Canariensis would not normally be expected to survive outdoors here, and there may be other factors contributing to its success. At number 8 is Brahea Armata, or the Mexican blue palm, and Brahea Edulis. Brahea Armata is a spectacular palm with silvery blue foliage, while Edulis leaves are more green, and both are reportedly hardy down to -8 to 10 degrees, although they should only be exposed to these temperatures for a short time, and ideally only if the day temperatures are above freezing. Therefore, it's advisable that the crowns of these palms are also protected during winter with straw and fleece, and ideally planted in a sheltered sunny spot. Both varieties are slower growing palms, although deep irrigation can help to promote faster growth, which is a technique of providing water deeper underground to encourage the roots to grow down, and this helps establish better drought tolerance. At number 7 are Butia Capitata, Odorata, and Eriospatha, known as the jelly palms. Butia Odorata was considered a subspecies of Butia Capitata, although more recent studies suggest it is a separate species. Both have beautiful grey-green feather-like leaves and are hardy down to approximately -10 to -12 degrees C, although again, providing protection to the crown over winter is advisable. There are even reports of mature trees surviving -15. They do dislike cold, wet soils, however, so good drainage is essential, preferably sandy soil. In coastal areas, they should also be given protection from strong winds. They are drought tolerant but will grow faster with regular watering and feed. Butia Eriospatha is known as the woolly jelly palm and has slightly greener leaves and brown woolly covering over its flower spike. It's a faster growing palm than the jelly palms and can survive winter in most of the UK, particularly if given protection from the harshest conditions. However, it is fussier than other butias and does not like competing with grass, needs very good drainage, and is very fussy about its soil requirements. It prefers to grow in full sun, although will tolerate dappled shade. At number 6 is the Sabal Minor, or the dwarf palmetto, which has fan-shaped leaves and a trunk which largely grows underground, protecting its more vital parts from the cold and frosts, and giving it the appearance that the leaves are emerging from underground. It can be grown in most of the UK, surviving temperatures down to -14 degrees C, possibly lower. It's slow growing and prefers plenty of moisture, growing naturally in swampy conditions. Ideally, it prefers hot, humid summers in order to grow well, and therefore may be better grown in a humid greenhouse or conservatory for the first few years while it establishes. And the lack of warm summers is likely to be the main inhibitor to growing this palm in the UK, particularly in colder areas. At number 5 is Trithrinax Campestris, or the Argentinian blue palm. Reportedly able to tolerate temperatures of at least -12 degrees C, it's still very rare in the UK. It's a slow-growing palm and both leaves and trunk can be vicious due to the sharp spikes at the end of its leaf tips. Therefore, it's best planted away from pathways. It needs a sunny position with very good drainage as it will not tolerate being waterlogged, but it can withstand strong winds. At number 4 is the Chamaerops Humilis and its subspecies Argentea, also known as Cerifera, and Vulcano. Camar Ups are clump-forming palms known as the European fan palm, with green fan-shaped leaves or silvery blue in the case of Argentea. They're hardy in most of the UK, surviving temperatures at least down to -12 degrees C, and are very versatile, surviving in strong winds and poor stony soils. They can also be grown in pots due to the compact nature, particularly of the Vulcano variety, which is smaller with stiffer leaves. At number 3 is Jubea Chilensis, or the Chilean wine palm. This palm is one of the hardiest palms in the UK and can survive temperatures down to around -15 degrees C. However, it's still relatively unusual in the UK due to its very slow growth, and therefore the price of this palm will often put prospective buyers off. It looks similar in appearance to Phoenix Canariensis, but does not have the large thorns at the leaf base. It grows well in most types of soil and prefers full sun and a sheltered position. At number 2 are the Trachycarpus species. Although there are several species and new hybrids being bred, I have focused on some of the more common ones: Fortunei, Wagnerianus, Princeps, Naggy, Ukhrulensis, and Latisectus. Trachycarpus Fortunei is probably the most common palm tree grown in the UK and is hardy throughout most of the UK, although it does need a sheltered position as it's not very wind tolerant. Although much rarer, there is also a variegated form. Trachycarpus Wagnerianus is also hardy across most of the UK and has stiffer leaves that are much better at withstanding strong winds. However, it's slower growing and remains more compact. The Trachycarpus Naggy is a cross between Nanus and Wagnerianus, which is believed to have inherited the cold hardy traits of the Wagnerianus, although has not been extensively put to the test. Trachycarpus Princeps has beautiful silvery leaves underneath. and although slightly less hardy than some of the other Trachycarpus varieties, surviving to around -10 degrees, there are hybrids bred to be more cold tolerant. Trachycarpus Ukhrulensis is similar to Princeps, although the leaves are not as pale underneath and frond segments are more numerous. Trachycarpus Latisectus is the least hardy of the Trachycarpus varieties mentioned here, surviving down to only around -7 degrees C, possibly less when young. Finally, at number 1 is Rhopalostylis Sapida, or the needle palm. This small clumping palm can survive temperatures as low as -20 degrees C and is both drought tolerant and can withstand wet soil. It grows in full sun or full shade and is one of the easiest palms to grow. However, it's not widely available in the UK as it's very slow growing and doesn't reach to more than around 1.5 metres tall. It has very sharp spikes at the end of its leaf base. So if you didn't think the UK was warm enough to grow so many varieties of palm trees, hopefully this has given you some ideas of palms that might be suitable where you live. If you're enjoying the content of Freya's Tropical Garden, then please help this channel grow by subscribing. Every new subscriber is appreciated, and by turning on notifications to my videos, you can also make sure that you don't miss any episodes in future. You can also follow me on social media, where I'll release links to my latest videos, as well as share my flower of the day. You can follow me on X, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, or join my Facebook group to engage in discussions and share your own photos. Freya's Tropical Garden webpage also has links to my videos and helpful advice. And now, in order to support the continued growth of this channel, there is an option of becoming a member, which will give you access to a private Facebook group where I'll be running monthly competitions exclusively for members, as well as additional exclusive content. And as always, I welcome your feedback in the comments below.